China's diplomatic overtures to Russia this week have raised questions about Beijing's support for Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. But Politburo member Wang Yi is visiting Moscow, armed with a proposal for peace. And today, Mr. Putin said, following a meeting with Mr. Wang, that cooperation between China and Russia is key to international stability. The Russian leader said relations with Beijing are developing well and that he awaits a visit from Chinese President Xi Jinping. Mr. Wang stressed that China-Russia relations will not succumb to pressure from other countries. Instead, both nations are ready to deepen a strategic cooperation. Mr. Wang also met with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, where he expressed Beijing's willingness to maintain cooperation regardless of the international situation. For more, Stuart Smith joins us live. He's in Moscow. Stuart, Wang Yi just met Russian President Vladimir Putin. What did they discuss?
We don't have any specifics from the Kremlin. We know that in opening statements which were made public to Russian pool media, that the emphasis was on how Russia and China would address the international situation. For example, Wang Yi said that relations between Russia and China are not directed against third countries, nor are they influenced or subject to pressure from third countries. A reference most likely to the United States, which with both countries, China and Russia, feeling that the United States is taking positions against both countries that are counter to their national interests. In terms of what, though they may have discussed, we can expect the visit of Xi Jinping most likely, well, definitely in spring, according to Russian officials, most likely at the end of April, early May, according to some United States media. That would be very important. With that kind of meeting, it would be both reaffirming the Russian-Chinese relationship, although there seems to be no doubt about that from this visit from Wang Yi. And there will also be attempts made, potentially, to try to find some resolution. We know that Wang Yi is trying to find some sort of peace agreement for Russia, Ukraine, and also Europe and the whole world more broadly, China says. But we don't know what exactly Moscow is willing to accept, nor how much leverage China is willing to use on its part.
Stuart, Mr. Wang also met the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov with new agreements on his mind. What's the outcome of their meeting, though?
Yeah, we haven't had any official agreement signed, so nothing like that. We do know that there was the repetition of the idea that the relationship between Russia and China is incredibly strong and only deepening and strengthening. There was no mention of any conflict of interests or issues that were negative, only a sense that Russia and China continue to remain very close, despite concerns in the West and Europe that China is preparing to help Russia with weapons, something it says it's not done so far, and something it wouldn't do. We know Russia benefits from China's willingness to accept Russian oil, which the European nations are no longer doing. We know that that means China also benefits from lower oil prices, and we know bilateral relations were part of the discussion. So trade and oil were likely to have been discussed, how those could be increased as Russia looks to the east to finance its treasury when the Western world seems to be closing its doors in the face of Russia's special military operation against Ukraine.
Challenges remain for Russia. Stuart, thank you for that. Stuart Smith there in Moscow.